There is a $1.1 million gap between Denver's cheapest and most expensive suburb, and the side you choose changes more than your mortgage. Today, I'm ranking 8 Denver area suburbs from cheapest to most expensive, and I'm going to show you who each price tier is best for. Let's get into it. Starting with Aurora. People usually have one version of Aurora in their heads. Frankly, I think it gets a bad rap thanks to a small corner of the city. But once you drive farther south and east, that picture starts to change pretty fast. On the southern stretch along E470, you'll find golf course communities, wider lots, calm cul-de-sacs, lots of new construction communities, and mountain views from the back deck. Aurora is Colorado's third largest city, both in land size and population, with more than 410,000 people, so it stretches a lot farther than most buyers realize. The Colfax Avenue area, running east and west through the entire metro area closer to Denver, gets most of the attention. Frankly, it's not an area most people want to spend much time in. There's quite a bit of revitalization that needs to happen and is in the works for the area, but it's going to be a while. But south and east of those areas, you start to see some real value. When it comes to pricing, Aurora's citywide median is sitting in the mid-400s, as I said in the beginning. That includes condos and townhomes. And that number gets pulled down by older homes around that Colfax area, but it also means you can still find entry-level detached homes to the south and to the east in the mid to high 400s. That's hard to find across the metro. If you're looking for new to newer construction in the $400,000 to $500,000 range, East Aurora offers some really great options right now. I'm talking 2,000 square feet, just a few years old, a small backyard, and some community amenities. The Aurora Highlands is a great example of this, with very easy access to the airport if you travel a lot. And across Southeast Aurora, you can climb in price to get up to 5,000 square feet for a better price per square foot than any other part of the metro. I will say one drawback to the far east side of the metro area, and remember Aurora is the furthest east, is that there's not a ton of infrastructure out there right now. Some parts have big shopping centers, so neighborhoods surrounding developments like the Southlands Mall are covered, but other areas are still being developed, so you may be driving a few extra minutes to a grocery store in certain parts of town in the next few years. Lots of big plans to develop these areas, but it's far from built out. Now, what gives Aurora momentum is the combination of major employment centers and regional connectivity. The CU Anschutz Medical Campus on the western side is the largest academic health center in the Rocky Mountain region and supports tens of thousands of jobs. They're a huge Colorado employer. Buckley Space Force Base adds another major employer, and RTD's E and R rail lines give residents direct access to Union Station in downtown Denver. And when we get into the 700s tier, I'll show you what happens when you pay close to double for a similar suburban package in a different zip code. Stay with me. But there's a trade-off in Aurora, and it's the geography. If your job is in the foothills, downtown, or anywhere on the west side, Aurora may feel like a long drive. Add 30 minutes to your drive up to the mountains. However, if your life is built around the East Metro, the airport, Anschutz, or the tech parks along E470, you can't find a more affordable detached home than anywhere else on the list. The next $100,000 up moves the conversation away from value and closer to terrain. Getting into Lakewood, you can be eating breakfast, and 15 minutes later, you can be on a foothills trail or in the heart of a trendy Denver brunch restaurant. That's the whole pitch. So often, I have home buyers who want to purchase a home within the city of Denver and quickly realize their budget just doesn't get them what they need in a home. Enter Lakewood. Just to the west of Denver and stretching west into the foothills, the suburb doesn't call attention to itself the way some others do. It's the 5th largest city in Colorado, but it has a pretty low-key feel in many parts. It's established, a little under the radar, and not trying to chase every new trend. One area I often call attention to is Green Mountain on the western edge, one of my favorite areas for buyers in this rough price range, especially if they love the outdoors. The ridge is right there, and in some spots you can see the trails from your backyard. Most of the homes here were built in the 70s and 80s, so you'll see classic ranches, split-level homes, and smaller lots. And homes are selling in the mid to high 500s. Now, you'll have to push higher than that if you want a completely remodeled home or need more than 2,500 square feet, but these homes generally have good bones. It's a great starting point. But Lakewood isn't just about trail access. A few minutes east, closer to Denver, you've got Belmar, which is the main walkable retail area. You've got outdoor dining, Whole Foods, and weekend street festivals in the summer. It's the closest thing Lakewood has to a downtown around here. And in this area, you can often find more updated homes, brick ranches, 2,000 square feet in the mid to high 500s. You're also in the highly ranked Jefferson County School District. When we get to the top of this list, this same school district name is going to show up again at close to double double the price, but more on that later. Now, the W Line light rail connects Lakewood straight to Union Station in about 27 minutes. That's a real commute option, not just something that looks good on a map. Red Rocks Amphitheater is about 12 miles away too, so seeing a concert on a Wednesday night doesn't have to turn into a whole road trip. And before we get into the rest of this list, if you're watching this and trying to figure out which Denver area price tier fits you, that's a conversation worth having before you start touring homes. We can get much more nuanced than what you see here. I work with buyers across every price point in this metro, so feel free to reach out. My contact info is in the description. Back to the video. If you're priced out of Denver proper, but you still want to feel close to the parts of the city you love, Lakewood is one of the cleanest 15-minute pivots you can make. The next tier trades trailheads for something Lakewood doesn't have, a walkable downtown of its own. When looking at $600,000 suburbs around Denver, they give you a house, a yard, and a Target 10 minutes away. But Old Town Arvada gives you something very different. It's one of the more underrated suburbs in the area because of what's happening in the historic district at the center of town. Old Town Arvada is a walkable suburban downtown with a 1910-era train station, restaurants, breweries, small shops, and galleries, all within a few blocks. The G Line stops right there and gets you to Union Station in about 20 minutes. That mix is hard to find. With a walkable downtown, a light rail, and suburban pricing, there just aren't many places in the Denver metro area where you get all three. Now, pricing across Arvada lands somewhere in the low 600s depending on the part of town, and there are a few versions of the region you should know about. First, you've got Old Town and the older neighborhoods around it. Tree-lined streets, brick bungalows, more character, and very close to downtown Denver. As you move further north, you get into central Arvada near the massive and popular Stanley Lake. Mature neighborhoods and communities built out in the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2,000 to 3,000 square feet, well-kept ranches, and split-level homes. Then you've got northwest Arvada with communities like Layden Rock, Candelas. That's where you'll find newer homes, modern floor plans, planned communities, neighborhood amenities, and views out toward Boulder and the foothills. $600,000 would be closer to the low end of the price range for single family in the newer communities in northwest Arvada, though. All the same school district, different feel. Jefferson County Schools is the second largest district in Colorado with strong options across the county. And don't miss the hidden gem I'm going to show you in a bit. It's the play most agents don't talk about, and it could save you six figures on a similar home. Now, geographically, what makes Arvada special is the fact that you're 15 to 30 minutes from downtown Denver, depending on where you are in Arvada, and about 30 minutes from Boulder. That's rare. It's one of the few suburbs in the metro where you can reach both job corridors without fully choosing one side. So if you're wanting suburban pricing without feeling cut off from city life, Arvada is doing something most suburbs in this price range just aren't doing. Step up one more tier and the buying logic starts to shift from lifestyle to strategy. Enter the 700s range in Denver metro. You get one of the region's most desirable suburbs. Excellent schools, mature trees, access to hundreds of miles of trails and parks, and spacious homes. Centennial isn't trying to be hip, walkable, or urban. It's quiet. It's built around schools, kids' activities, and easy access to one of the biggest job areas in the metro. Centennial sits just 20 to 30 minutes south of downtown Denver along I-25. The Denver Tech Center is in Centennial's backyard, so you've got major employers within a short drive, including Dish Network, Lockheed Martin, financial services firms, and tech companies. If you work along the I-25 tech corridor, you can be at your desk in about 15 minutes, and it is so easy to get into downtown for a date night at an upscale restaurant. When it comes to prices, Centennial's median sits in the mid-600s, but the real value play is in the 700s to low 800s, especially on the west side of town. And one of the reasons comes back to schools. Cherry Creek High School is rated 9 out of 10 on great schools, and it serves a large part of Centennial. Cross the line into Greenwood Village or Cherry Hills Village, and you're paying a lot more for access to the same district. On the west side of Centennial, in the 700s to 800s, you can get a home in the 2,500 to 3,000 square foot range. On the lower end, you'll get good bones with some cosmetic updates needed. On the higher end of that $700,000 to $800,000 range, you'll be able to find a home that's been updated in the last few years. If you need more space, West Centennial certainly has those options too. You'll just jump up in price. And keep this in mind because when we get to the top tier of this list, we're going to come back to what the same school zoning costs at the high end. While Centennial doesn't offer a ton in the way of nightlife and dining options, though there are some there, there's also the Midtown Centennial development underway along I-25, which will bring new retail, residential density, and more into the area. So the next 5 to 10 years here look very interesting. If you're a family with school-age kids and you work along I-25, Centennial is one of the most efficient buys in the whole metro. The next tier up trades school arbitrage for something newer. Once you cross into the $800,000 range around Denver, you'll find some incredible value in newer or new construction, and Castle Rock has a ton of that already built with more homes coming. Castle Rock has its own vibe. It's the furthest south in the metro area. Around here, you've got the historic Main Street, local breweries, and a farmer's market in the summer. Then you turn into one of the master planned communities, and the amenity packages are very strong. Across the city, Castle Rock's median is sitting somewhere in the low to mid 600s, so there's lots of options. But if you want more than 3,000 square feet, the smart buy is really new or newer construction in that $750,000 to $900,000 range. You're getting more square footage, modern finishes, strong neighborhood amenities. Now, lifestyle is top tier. You've got 100 plus miles of trails, 25 parks, more than 4,000 acres of open space. The Outlets at Castle Rock is Colorado's largest open-air outlet center with over 100 brand-name stores, and downtown Castle Rock has real restaurants and a growing brewery scene. Then you've got the schools. The Douglas County School District is one of the top districts in the metro with a 93.6% graduation rate. However, the trade-off here in Castle Rock is the commute. Castle Rock is about 30 minutes to the tech center on a good day without traffic, and closer to 40 or 50 minutes to downtown Denver. So if you're a remote or hybrid worker and you want newer homes, more space, and more house for the money, Castle Rock gives you something the older suburbs can't. Now, we're getting to the one I told you not to miss, and it's the only pick on this list that isn't technically a suburb. Before any of you point out in the comments that this is not a suburb, I'll go ahead and do it myself. Northwest Denver is a region inside the city of Denver and includes the Highlands, Berkeley, Sunnyside, Sloan's Lake, and Low-High neighborhoods. It comes up all the time when I'm meeting with new buyers, so I wanted to get it in this list. It fits the price tier well for those who aren't as concerned with the suburban amenities and don't need a massive home. In the mid to high 900s, you're paying for access to this area's thriving Denver lifestyle. Historic homes, walkability, and urban feel with outdoor access. In this price range for a single family home, you are likely looking at a brick Victorian or bungalow with 1,000 to 2,000 square feet above grade, and then a 500, maybe up to 1,000 square feet in the basement. Lots will typically be around 6,000 to 7,000 square feet. So all smaller than the other areas we're discussing today, but they are very special homes. When these are well renovated, they're often selling somewhere in the 900s to the low millions. But the real reason you're here is because of what's within 5 minutes outside your front door. If you walk down West 32nd Avenue on a Saturday morning, you'll get the appeal pretty fast. Coffee shops, a wine bar, small clothing stores, bookshops, a farmer's market. Low-High offers a more trendy vibe with great nightlife, restaurants, and downtown views. The Highland Bridge is your walking access into the downtown core. In Berkeley, Tennyson Street is another walkable strip with some of the city's favorite restaurants, independent breweries, galleries, coffee roasters. Huckleberry Roasters is a neighborhood staple. I take lots of meetings there. You can spend a full Saturday in that region and never need your car. And stay with me here because the final tier on this list is where Cherry Creek Schools comes back into the picture, but I'll finish here first. Now, the home types here cover a wide range as you move up in price. You've got the original brick bungalows that I mentioned, but you've got new construction spec homes in Northwest Denver pushing $2 to $3 million. You've got larger luxury townhomes in the $1 to $2 million range, and you've got smaller townhomes for first-time buyers in the $600,000 to $700,000 range. But the buyers hunting here, they're almost always chasing the same thing: lifestyle. If you're a professional who wants to walk to dinner and still have a backyard, this is one of the best $900,000 trades in the Denver metro. Once you cross the $1 million line, the conversation shifts towards something the Highlands just can't give you: a self-contained suburban package. Lone Tree is where you start to remove the trade-offs. This is the South Metro suburb that decided it didn't have to choose between commute, schools, amenities, and house size. It sits closer to every major point. The I-25 runs right through it. The tech center is about 10 minutes north. Castle Rock is 15 minutes south. When it comes to pricing, it often starts in the upper 800s and runs into the low millions for typical detached homes, but you're getting a fairly large property, 4,000 to 5,000 square feet in that $1.2 million range. Custom builds and newer homes can push well past that, with several homes closing near $3 million this year. Some gorgeous custom properties. Sky Ridge and the newer Ridgegate neighborhoods are often priced from the high 900s into the $1.3 million range. You've also got Park Meadows Mall right in the area, and it's the largest mall in Colorado. Excellent shopping experience. Sky Ridge Medical Center is here too, and it's a major full-service hospital with strong patient satisfaction rates. If you like Lone Tree but want more house for the money, this is the play. And I see some great opportunity to pick up large 5,000 square foot homes in this price range ahead of the completion of the biggest thing happening in Lone Tree right now. That's the Ridgegate development. It's a 3,500-acre mixed-use project, and the West Village is mostly built out. The east side is where the next chapter is happening. They're building a 440-acre mixed-use downtown core between Lincoln Avenue and Ridgegate Parkway with 2 light rail stations. In other words, Lone Tree planned its own downtown, and it's being built right now. Schools are also strong here. Douglas County serves most of Lone Tree, so if you work along the tech corridor and you're tired of giving something up, Lone Tree is one of the cleanest landing zones in the metro. The final tier doesn't give you more square footage, it gives you something harder to define and much harder to get into. After 7 tiers, we finally made it to the last one, maybe my favorite. Greenwood Village is one of the Front Range's premier destinations for awesome homes. Pricing here starts in the mid $1 million range, with most homes landing somewhere between $1.2 million and $2 million bucks. But it's also well known for high-end custom estates, which can push to $4 or $5 million, and at times well beyond that. There's a $7 million home for sale there right now. You'll find established homes on larger, secluded, older lots with mature trees and landscaping you just can't fake. That kind of setting takes decades to grow. Just driving through some of these neighborhoods is absolutely breathtaking. Greenwood Village is pretty much built out, so when you get one of these large lots of land, you've secured something very special. The commute to the tech center is measured in minutes, not miles. You're 15 minutes from Denver, and Cherry Creek High School is physically located right in Greenwood Village. Now, when it comes to jobs, Dish Network's headquarters is nearby, helping the DTC job corridor. Also, Fiddler's Green Amphitheater is here with 18,000 seats and one of the better outdoor concert setups in the Rocky Mountain region. The Landmark District nearby gives you upscale dining and retail, and Cherry Creek State Park is only minutes away. Cherry Hills Village next door is the $3 million plus move. Greenwood Village is the step right before that for most buyers in that $2 to $3 million range. And for the money, this city is hard to beat. Same Cherry Creek schools, prestige address, more buyable inventory across different price points, from sprawling 70s ranches to custom modern estates. There's great variety. If you're a professional who's outgrowing the master plan suburbs and you want established character without moving into estate-only pricing, Greenwood Village is one of the smartest, top-tier addresses in the Denver metro. The right Denver suburb is the one where the trade-offs match the life you're building. So many buyers get locked in on the price tier and miss the lifestyle fit. And that's how you end up with the right house in the wrong neighborhood. So if you watched this and you're trying to figure out which place makes the most sense for you, feel free to reach out to me. Email me at ryan@ryanhaarer.com. And if you like this breakdown, check out the video I've linked here on the Denver suburbs nobody talks about. This video walks through 7 overlooked neighborhoods sitting next to premium areas at real discounts. I'll see you on the next one.